Welcome back to Alaska Rants. I'm your host, Marcus Moore, and I'd like to welcome you to another episode where unsophisticated, uneducated guys get together and have a conversation. I'm finally back after months and months and months of neglect, abandonment, security issues I have. You know, I'm kind of a needy person. And I'm finally back with my man, my brother,
Yes, sir. What's going
Josh.
on, Marcus?
How you doing, sir?
That's crazy, man.
All right. So, you ever lost anyone in your life before, Josh?
Yes, I have.
All right. So, this isn't new. This is, occurrence in life, right? What hit harder? Do you think just losing people in the past, that time frame, or recent losses, right? What's your state of mind right now?
My state of mind right now is it's like this. Okay. When you lose multiple people within a time span of 2 years, that hits the hardest. You could deal with one or two. In the last 2 years, I've lost 7 people. 7 people. And just recently, my grandma passed last month, towards the end of the month, and my grandfather passed away 2 weeks after her. It's, when God calls, he calls.
Facts.
There's you gotta take the day for granted, man. You gotta live for that moment and live for that day because tomorrow's never promised. And
you get hit by a car.
We never know.
People be dying all around town.
That's a tough thing, Then we had the murder over there the shooting at Gaslight. It's not even a murder. The guy got off on self-defense, which it was self-defense. Now, the person that got hurt and got killed, was that an acquaintance of mine? Yes. Was he in the wrong? Yes. Was it their fault that it started? No. It started over 2 women and 2 men trying to protect 2 women.
Well, I mean, at least at that point, you can at least say, we ain't got no beta males up here in Alaska.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, we ain't turning the other cheek up here, bro. Man, you disrespect my woman. You just disrespected me.
Right.
Now we got to have words.
Right.
It's just sad that we can't have words anymore without, pulling guns on each other.
Right. And my thing is, I don't see why anybody don't fight no more. You see, we used to throw hands. You throw your hands, and at the end of the day, you live to see tomorrow. You come back again another day.
Well, I mean, even if you carry, right?
Right.
Like, in my opinion, if I walk up on another male and me and him have a conversation and we both have a gun, right? At that point, you have to have mutual respect for each other, right? Because that's what a gun is, a great equalizer, right? Doesn't matter how big or small or, now we're all on even ground. The problem is, we just grab the gun and shoot.
Right.
Right? Like, I'm against that. You have to have some restraint. It's there to protect yourself, not to end an argument.
Right.
Right? Because at that point, you're just carrying a gun to murder somebody. Right? And that's not cool. If you're carrying a gun to go around with the aspect of, I'm going to kill a motherfucker today that disrespects me, then you shouldn't be carrying a gun to protect yourself in the first place.
Right.
Right? And I carry a gun for self-defense because I'm going to go home to my family at the end of the day, right? But if I had to pull my gun or show my gun, which I've never had to do, right, in public, in a situation like, Gaslight or whatever, they were drinking. Why do you have your gun out in public when you're drinking? You can't drink and drive. What makes you think you're going to be able to shoot straight?
Right. Right. And not everybody's in the right frame of mind when you're drinking, when you have a gun. Because when you have a gun, that drink can have you feeling like you're superior.
Facts.
It'll have you feeling like nothing can stop you. And that's what a lot of these young kids and a lot of people don't understand is that's the main thing that can get you in trouble. That's the main thing that's going to get you behind walls. Having somebody come visit you behind glass is kind of tough, man. Being behind them bars is nothing fun.
I mean, they
just
think
lost all your freedom.
They think carrying a gun is tough.
It is.
I'm tough because I'm carrying a gun.
It is.
But you're not tough carrying a gun.
It makes some people feel as if nothing can go wrong. It makes them feel as if, and this is just my opinion, it makes them feel as if somebody messes with me, all I gotta do is brand this gun. Well, the way I was raised, if you pull it, you gotta use it.
You gotta use it.
It's not just for showing. It's not show and tell. Now, the only time it's show and tell is when you pull it out your pocket and you get to a friend's house and you put it up on the counter or you put it on top of the cabinet. Them the only two places we know of where you put it. Unless you keeping it in your couch. Now you keeping it in your couch.
And see, that's why I don't think you should, I conceal carries, open carry, whatever, right? I feel like if more people open carried, right, you wouldn't have these conversations. They wouldn't start like this.
Right.
Right? Because let's say two grown-ass men had open carries. You guys both walked up to each other, okay? Most of these guys got these concealed carries. You don't even know they're carrying a gun, right? And I see a lot of, especially out in the valley, you see a lot of dudes just carry that shit right out in the open, bro. They're not trying to hide it, They're just saying, hey, I'm here. I'm just trying to live my life. I'm going to do it in a peaceful manner. Please respect me. I'll respect you, right? And that's like American. Right. That's that Wild West mentality of like, justice will be served, but don't make me bring down justice. Right. And I can respect that more than concealed carry guys, right, that pull the gun just to shoot the dude because I'm superior, right? At which point, it's like, if you guys both got guns, you guys should be able to, let's talk this out. Right. You know what I mean? If it comes down to like, fuck you, okay, cool.
And then move on about your business.
Move the fuck on, right? Because I think we've passed that stage of growing up where you and me would have just like fought it out in the parking lot. All right, you beat my ass, okay, let me buy you a beer.
Right.
Because that's how it used to be, bro.
That's how it used to be.
On either side.
Shake a man's hand, give him his respect.
It didn't matter what color you were, up here in Alaska at least, right? It really didn't, I could fight a Samoan, I could fight a Mexican, I could fight an Asian, I could fight a black dude, it didn't fucking matter. At the end of the day, right, I could get a beer, and say, hey, man, let's drink this out. Having shots, fucking cool. I see these guys, to this day, I see people that I have fought in this town.
I've done that before. I've gotten into it with guys before, fought it out, and then we went and had a drink.
But you still see them to this day.
You still see them to this day.
You're still fun. You're still cool, right? Nobody's holding a grudge. You don't have to worry about them shooting up your house, But with this younger generation, I feel like you got to watch your back sometimes because they're more of, like you said, they got that superiority complex. I'll pull the trigger, think about it later.
Right. They speak before they think. That's what I say. You know what I'm saying? You're going to speak before you think about the outcome of what you're putting yourself into. Yep. Is it really that serious to do this right now? Like, my grandparents and people always said you got to pick your poison. You got to pick your battles. Some days it's okay to walk away from a battle. It doesn't make you look less superior than the next person. It's just you saying, hey, man, I'm going home tonight, bro. Yep. I'm going home. Whatever you feel about me, that's how you feel about me. That's your business. And keep it moving. Now, that to me is a grown man.
Facts.
Because at this day and age with these young kids, when they speak before they think, their thing is they see what they see on TV. They're going to do that. They want to make a name for yourself. Well, how are you going to make a name for yourself? Here it is, lies a man that made a name for herself, or here it is a man as a cell block number. Them the only two things. That's all you got. You ain't got nothing else.
Hold my pocket.
That's it. Hold my pocket. And that's and that's what they're going to do. They're going to be holding somebody's pocket in jail. Yep. Or they're going to be holding somebody's pocket 6 feet deep. And that's wrong with these young kids.
I think it has to come down with this snowflake mentality of weak minds, right? What kind of shows do they have nowadays that you have like your mom? You remember your mama joke, that TV show, your mama?
Your mama joke.
Your mama's so fat.
And they never fought. They never fought. It was just all of like, people would take their aggressions out in that type of show of saying, hey, I got jokes. Yep. Let's battle out with jokes. Just like breakdancing. I've seen people where they get into it and they're like, you know what, we can show up and battle and dance. But there's certain things and ways of going about it. But this young generation, especially in a small place like Anchorage, Alaska, there's nothing for them to do besides but take out their aggression of what they're feeling.
Because no one teaches them what they should be doing, right? Like everybody says they need to be like us or my parents or your grandparents, right? Where we lived outside. Okay. I think that's a mistake, right? Like you have to go outside and see the world, right? But I think we focus too much on screens where they're consuming content, right? Instead of producing content, right? Because if you preached producing content and going out and getting that stuff, okay, you produce them and or persuade them to a call of action of going outside and communicating and doing things with other people, right? Because at that point, if you're trying to sell a brand or sell a product or sell a service, right? These kids are all online, right? Why aren't we just pushing them to start doing that stuff, right? Start being that content creation.
Well, what it is, I've been around parents where the first thing they want to do is tell their kid, "Go get your tablet," or "Here's my phone," or
But that's
"Go
just
get
to
on the computer."
consume that
But
shit.
but look, that's to stop a kid from acting out. When back in the day when it was us, it was go outside and go play. You know, we would go outside and go play, man. We didn't know nothing about no technologies of what they got right now. We were outside playing. My daughter is 7 years old. I could put a tablet in front of her. She'll watch it for about 30 minutes, but she'd rather go outside and play. Because that's how I wanted my daughter to be. Go outside. My boys, they rather go outside and play.
I'm down for that. I'm,
You know?
I'm just in this day and age, right? If you have kids that aren't going to go do that, because my niece is completely opposite. My niece, she will just take a tablet, and that's her whole day.
Right.
If you didn't take it away from her, yeah, it is sad. 'Cause all she's doing is consuming garbage, right? Whereas if I had her, at least learning and producing content, should be gaining skills, learning technology stuff, right? Learning how to code, learning how to build shit, learning how to build animations, 3D graphics, animations, that goes for a lot of money right now.
Right.
Right. If you can do 3D animation graphics and short video formats and stuff, you're paying
Big dollars.
big dollars for every 30 seconds of film.
And see, these are the type of things that us parents, including me, need to learn on what to have my child watch to learn certain things. Now, we can come up with something in our head and say, you know what, I want you to learn how to be a zoologist. So let me go ahead and type this in. I want you to sit here and watch it. Now, can we keep that child there to watch it?
So what you knew is you changed the server, location to be like China server. And then you only let your kids watch the same shit that China allows their children to watch, right? Because their children are getting these crazy. You ever seen these Chinese shorts of engineering, technology stuff, right? Where they have a TV show that's like a cartoon animation of robots killing each other, just like a robot battle war, right? But they keep popping in these statistics and stats of the designs and the schematics of these machines, right? And then at the end of this cartoon, they have this Q&A section where characters in the show answer questions that were sent to them by these kids in China that are like 18 or not 8 to like 15 years old. They're asking these crazy questions like, so what does that CPU processor run on this PO system mean? Well, let me break that down to you, right? Like you would never have an American kid watch an anime show and ask like, yo, man, well, how does that machine work? What's that technical schematics on that, right? How do I learn to build that chip? Right, what makes that brain work? How are they functioning in the arms? One of the questions was like, how does it run on the battery pack fluids? If you're changing out whatever, and they broke it down at the end of this TV show, this cartoon commercial made for 8 to 15-year-old kids, right? And that's how you make a change, bro.
Right.
Okay, is that you let them watch what they think they want to watch, right? But you put the message in there that you want them to hear. And I feel like that's what we need to do with American children right now, right? Is we need to make shorts, make videos, make fucking messaging available and not give them a choice, right? Like, don't let the algorithm say you can't do this or not. Let's just put this out there in so much format from every angle that you can literally break the algorithm because there's so much informational content out there other than the mindless creators that are out there making mindless dribble, right? There's not enough people putting educational stuff together in a young format way, right? Where you're trying to reach 8 to 12 or 15-year-olds. So now we're out trying to reach the 18 to 28-year-olds that didn't get the picture, get the memo, or just don't give a shit, right? Because they will give a shit by the time they're 30, 35, which is proven that most people in the younger ages, right, switch over because they weren't taught at a younger age. Because they keep moving this age demographic back to where now they're hoping that nobody pays attention until you're 45 and 50, and by then, the time you care, you're about to die anyways. You're at the end of your,
Right, right.
you're burnt
And
out.
then you got, under the same aspect of this conversation, you know, we can do that. We can push it all day. Now, is it up to us for them to watch it?
No.
No, it's up to them. But how do we keep their attention? How do we keep them interested? You know what I'm saying? Like where they can come back and say, "I want to see another one. I want to learn the next one. What is the next one I can learn?"
Show them
You know?
how all the stuff at the end of the course, right? Like, so we have elections in November,
Right.
right? We're building this up. We're almost 60 days built out, right? And just showing the progress of adding followers, right? And people engaging back in content, right? Like, comments, clicks, whatever. I feel like that's where they'll reach out and start being able to make a difference,
Right.
right? Because TikTok, they get a bunch of comments back, whether good or bad or haters, or majority of the haters, I would say, are the adults. I think the adults hate on the youth that are spreading the message right now more than their peers hate on them for just attempting to spread the word.
Right.
Spread my truth. I'm 20, I'm 18, I'm 22. Here's my truth. This is what I feel like I understand the system to be, or this issue to be, or maybe we should look at this degree of like, we suck at finance. Let's not go into the same debt problems our parents are in. We are all poor right now because our parents are in debt. And the kids are growing up right now. They see this. They don't want to repeat that, right? So maybe they're trying to understand, don't care, but we put that in front of them, right? And then you give them the ability to come over here and say, well, if they want to fight back, they know there's something wrong in this country, right? And maybe it's because they never had a religious impact, right? So then maybe we can steer them to a place of learning how to understand what a decent religion is, right? Like, we don't need to push a certain religion on anybody, right? There's a bunch of them out there, but I would say that I personally believe in Christ, right? Other people that I know personally believe in Allah, being Muslims, right? And I would say that the kids are split halfway down, where you have the religious side of the kids that are forced to go to church because their parents are,
Right.
bringing them or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with introducing your child to the faith and teaching them right from wrong, because that's super important to have a society, right? But when they turn 18, they sort of fall away from that faith in either direction, right? And what you don't see is that ability to fight back off of that faith. You see a bunch of cowardice.
And the reason why they fall back off of that is because you keep your kids sheltered off from the world. You have to let them see the world for themselves and for what it is.
See the evil.
They have to see the evil for them to make up their mind what it is that they want to do. You got some that's going to follow correct, and you got some that's not going to follow correct. But it's up to them. They have to learn how to use their own minds.
Well,
Now,
if you don't teach them to see that evil when they're young,
don't.
when they're 18, 19, you don't have control over them, bro, they're going to go seek that evil out themselves.
they
Now
are.
you're not there to help them out.
Right.
Control them, say, hey, that's hot. You touch that shit, you're going to get burnt.
Right. And see, and that's like, my dad, when he used to take us to church all the time, he never forced it upon us. He led us to the water. Now it's up to us if we're going to drink it.
Yep.
Now, don't get me wrong. I've woke up and been that kid. I don't want to go to church. But then I sit back and I think about, like, I'm going to church because you got your friends and you're learning something there. How do you perceive the word to learn the word? You know what I mean? Break it down in your own mind. But then there's books that can help you with that. You know what I mean? So when my dad did that, he gave me the option. That's why I'm at where I'm at right now to this day. You know what I mean? I have faith. I do believe. But I also know from right from wrong, because my dad didn't keep the bad from me. He let me see it. I experienced it. I know what I want in life. And that's what helped me control my mind and to get me into a place where I wanted to be. I've always said, I don't want to be behind bars. No, for what? Have I gotten in trouble before? Yeah. Didn't like it. Them sandwiches suck. You know what I'm saying?
The
I'll
water
tell,
sucks,
a
dog.
kid real quick, wait till you get an apple. Get an apple from Dell, man. That apple's going to be brown, molded, and it's going to be old. You tell me you like that. You get 3 meals in a cot.
Yep. And you're going to eat it because you're hungry.
And they're going to say, don't drop the soap.
Yep.
That's it.
Don't drop the soap.
That's it. That's it. But when you give a child the opportunity to actually see and to help them and to let them make up their own mind, I promise you, a lot of violence can get toned down. But it's from all these kids being sheltered off from that because the parents are scared of their child getting hurt. Your child's not going to get hurt because your child's going to make the right
Well,
decision.
not only that, as a parent, when you do that, I feel like you're sheltering yourself from being able to be that protector, right? Be that provider, where you should be the one as a parent guarding the attacks against children, your faith, your religion, all of that. You have to have enough conviction if you're actually going to believe in whatever you believe in, all right, to stand up. And most of the time, like I have a really bad mouth. I've been working on it. I do curse worse than a sailor. And it's just part of my DNA. I have firmly come to believe this. I have tried, and to
tried
this
myself.
day, still try not to drop S bombs and it's really hard because there's so much different imagery I could use. But why when fuck it, that's gay? It's perfect.
That it fits perfect. It feels good. But see, I always say I'm gonna speak how I speak, but I'm gonna speak proper. I may be cursing in what I say, but I'm not cursing at you. So if you don't understand what I'm saying, because it understands for me when I say it, like I can sit there and be like, man, fuck, that is some bullshit though. But I understand how you fucking feel. To me, I'm just having a simple conversation. It's just the way I speak. There's no intended in harm. Now I always tell people, you ain't gotta change how you speak. You don't have to change how you speak, but you have to be proper. You have to be, what's the word I'm looking for? You have to be positive with it.
Yep.
You know, we all know when somebody comes out negative when they're mad and they're angry. Of course, your tone of your dialogue is going to change.
Well, even
You
if
know,
I feel your curse words, if they're not meant in a negative,
right?
you know,
Then it's okay. With me, it's okay. Like with you, for instance, you know, you speak. I like that you speak how you speak. You don't mean no harm intended. You know what
it
I
just
mean?
happens. It comes out.
But some people will never understand that. Some people look at it like, oh, you're so disrespectful. You don't say this, don't say that. No, that's just how they speak.
I'm just brutally honest.
You know who are the worst people that speak bad? Honestly, and I seen it and heard it, bro. And I know I might get a little backlash for this. Pastors and deacons.
Ooh, Pat. Hey, if you guys like that, comment below. Let us know what you think. You think the worst speaking, foul, dirtiest minds are from pastors and deacons? Because this is why I find it hard for myself to go to church. Is that exact reason?
Right.
Okay, I grew up in the church. Christ is King. I believe in Him. I know He's real. I'm working on expanding my faith to read the Bible every day. Try to acknowledge in my posts and in my outreachings and talkings more that I am a Christian, right? Like not trying to like hide behind the bush and whatever, right? But it's hard for me to go to a place in a church, right, where I feel like it's more politicky than politics. And when I mean that is when you start looking at the deacons and the elders and the pastors, right? There's like that social structure scale, okay? And then the hypocrisy that goes behind the closed doors
Right.
that I grew up seeing has never changed. I still don't think it does today.
No, it hasn't changed. I mean, the first pastor from my church, believe it or not, he was a pimp.
My
He
first
was a pimp that
pastor,
changed his life.
my first
But
pastor was gay, and they found out after like 25 years.
yeah, how they feel about it?
Oh,
Did
well,
they judge
they
him?
got rid of him.
See, and that's the thing.
You know what I mean? And I would too, because
But why would
that's where
you?
you'd have to stand your ground, right? Because that's when you come into the new moral founders. And your son and me were actually talking about this, and we can get into this on a longer segment of like I'm not very sophisticated on the matter, right? But I feel like this is why we should have these conversations as dumb people instead of intelligent people, so that way the smart people of the internet can call us out and fix our bullshit, But the Bible in itself, to a point has been separated from like different stories and stuff. I would like to understand that more.
Right.
Right. The fact that, women shouldn't be preaching in the church and you see all these feminine, women pastors, right? Or any of these woke ideology beta males preaching this shit, right? I feel like that's all false prophets. You know, all those people that are going to those church got the me God, right? And I don't think God's the me God, right? I don't think me not going to church and being part of his flock, I feel like there's a sinful factor of that, you know, for not delegating. But I feel like that's what we're doing now, right? As we build more people up, right? We are our own church in a matter of support system, which is that all you need is that for accountability, right? That's my personal opinion on it, right? So instead of going to find a church for leadership, right, I'm just reaching out to other lost souls like myself that are, you know, believers and they got a foundation and stuff that want to help hold other people accountable, right? And that we're a support structure because men don't have a support structure, right? Outside of your family, you don't have a support structure for men to just come and, especially white men, right? They've done studies on this, which is kind of funny, but, you know, black men go to the barbershop more often than white men. And when you go to a black barbershop, it's completely different than a white barber. All right? And have you been to a white barbershop?
Oh, yeah.
You've been to a black barbershop? You can definitely tell me that this is real.
It's
okay?
real.
And when I go to a black barber, I talk, we have a good time. I feel great when I leave. You know, I have Larry cut my hair. So, you know, we always got a great time. You know, that motherfucker opens up. These little Puerto Rican dudes, you know, they say some
cool.
shit. You know what I mean? Like, everybody just has a conversation. Doesn't matter what the fuck. I say some shit. You know what comes out of my mouth, especially when I'm not on camera. You know, like, I try to filter my stuff. I don't have any, like, bad opinions, right? But I have strong beliefs, right? And all of my beliefs are up to sway depending on the facts you can show me.
That's how I feel. That's how I am.
Okay, so I'm gonna, even if I'm completely wrong,
Right.
I'm gonna believe on it, and I'm gonna fight it to my last breath until you come out and be like, oh, and then be like, all right, I fucked up. I'm an idiot. I didn't understand this. You're absolutely correct, right? I would like to go on the record and just apologize for my dumbass statement, and let's go ahead and I'm gonna change my stance on this. Right. I'm not always gonna say that I'm 100% Republican. Because I'm not. But I really love what the Republican Party is doing right now. Okay, so obviously I'm going to tell everybody that we need to vote red. You know, need to get those blue people out because I'm not a left versus right. I'm a wrong versus right. And we're definitely going down the wrong road. Okay, so that's where I'm pushing on that. But it all comes back to the end of the day is being able to have a conversation. Okay. Show up and be committed for what you want to do.
Right.
Even through the turmoils of death. Right? Because family loss, I know that's tough. 7 motherfucking people.
7, bro.
That's a lot. Right?
But see, that's not the first time that's happened to me. You know, I've
So you just got bad luck.
Nah, I wouldn't say it's bad luck. I would say that I've been around people that actually had situations to where it was just a continuous back to back. Like to the point, bro, I go to a funeral, I can't even cry. You know what I mean? Because I've cried so much. You know
then you need to put your focus into other things.
and
I've been telling you that. And you put them into the wrong things.
Right.
You need to step up, be more accountable to your family.
You're right.
Okay? I know it's tough, but I've always been here for you, have I not?
You have.
For a lot of bullshit.
A lot.
You give me a lot of bullshit. You give me a lot of stress, Josh.
I don't mean to stress you out.
So much stress.
That's why I love you, brother.
But I love you too.
Yeah. I don't mean for you to be
With that note, I think we're going to wrap it up, call it a night, and we'll catch you next time on Alaska Rants. Like, follow, click, and subscribe.
Have a good one.